know we've got a lot to talk about. I imagine he has a lot to say. Éric Duhaime is leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, and he is on the line. Monsieur Duhaime, Éric, welcome back.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, first things first. Monday, your party finishes second in the Chicoutimi by-election, 26% of the vote, but not a win. What do you think that 26% and finishing in second says about your party support right now?
Well, it says that we more than tripled the support that we had in the last general election, because in Chicoutimi we did 8% in 2022. On Monday we did 26%, so we're very happy of the increase. It's also the second by-election in a row, the two last before the general election, where the Conservatives are the only party that is competitive against the Parti Québécois. It shows us that outside of Montreal right now, it's a battle between the Parti Québécois and the Conservatives. And that for us is good news, because we think that we're the only ones, who are fighting against their referendum. And it's important to have a strong voice in those regions. And the voters in Chicoutimi and in Arthabasca last August decided that we were the only credible alternative to the Parti Québécois.
Now, despite the PQ success with their fourth by-election win, there are some cracks beginning to form for Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon. A lot of them have to do with referendum. People, in light of everything that's happening trade-wise and Donald Trump, don't want to hear talk of it. What do you think? What do you? And I hear Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon kind of moderating his tone now slightly on referendum.
Yeah.
How much?
Be cautious.
Yeah.
Be cautious, because look, you're right about the beginning. Absolutely, like obviously there's no appetite for a referendum, and you have to understand Chicoutimi is a very, very separatist stronghold. It voted yes in 1995 at 69%. And in the general election before that vote in 94, it voted Parti Québécois at 64.
Mm-hmm.
On Monday, the Parti Québécois only got 45%. We're talking about their stronghold. And the same poll that predicted the results that were exactly the same with what happened, the Palace poll, also shown that the separation issue is at 26% in favor of the yes right now, 52% against in Chicoutimi, that voted 69% yes in 95. So it gives you an idea how Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon and the Parti Québécois are in trouble with their referendum idea right now. That being said, he on Monday night, obviously the PQ was hoping at least for over 50% in Chicoutimi, and in front of the result, he said that his purpose is more to have a real government, a good government. But at the same time, he's saying that when Donald Trump is not going to be there in 2-3 years, then we will hold our referendum. We never said it will be at the beginning of our mandate. It could be at the end of the mandate, which in my book, honestly, it's even worse, because it means we're going to have even more instability for 3-4 years before people go to vote. And the best way to escape the referendum, the instability and the security that goes with it, is to make sure that the PQ is not the government in October.
And obviously we see the support for separation waning in the polls, but even despite all that, there still seemingly is a bit of a purity test in Quebec politics. I know you're asked this week if there was a referendum. Let's say you had to get into the voting box and you had to vote in a referendum. Would you vote yes or no? You're getting asked that. How do you answer that question?
Well, I'm saying that it reminds me of 1995 and 1980, and I think Quebecers don't want to go there. We don't want to be, in the small box and having to decide that. And I was very surprised today to hear the new Liberal leader, Charles Milliard, say that he's preparing the no bus. I mean, is he taking for granted that the Parti Québécois is going to form a majority government in October? Is he dreaming of a referendum? Really? For me, the thing, we have to stop dividing Quebecers. We have to unite Quebecers, and we have to say no to a referendum and do every single thing we can to make sure it's not happening. And the best thing to do that is to beat the Parti Québécois. This morning, again, there's a national poll saying that it would be the Parti Québécois at 30%. That they're close to a minority government, and we're going up. We would have 10 to 12 seats according to that prediction. Well, I can tell you, if we have the balance of power, there's going to be no referendum. It's going to be the first thing that we're going to stand up for, because I just did the door knocking in Chicoutimi, and I'm telling you, you're going to be happy to hear that. Even the separatist francophone in the region of Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, they want to have nothing to do with the referendum. They're concerned about the grocery bills going up. They're concerned about their forest industry that is going through a crisis. They're concerned about the industry of aluminum that is very important there. They want to have the investments of the national defense from the federal government. And the last thing they want is a referendum that's going to bring more instability for them.
On that Palace data poll that comes out this morning shows your party in third place after the PQ and the Liberals are pretty neck and neck. A couple of things I want to highlight there. First things first, non-Francophones, you are the second pick now. 57% Liberals, 22% for your party. Obviously, you're on CJD. You're speaking to those non-Francophones. So I want you to touch on that, a message to Anglophones. And I also want to point this out. It seems like your vote is consistent. Men, women, 18 to 35, 35 to 49, 50 to 65. You're just about anywhere 17, 18, 20%. And then we get to old people. 65 and up seniors, you're at 5%. Why don't seniors want to have anything to do with you?
Well, it's more difficult. The Conservative Party of Quebec is a party that wants to change the bureaucratic model of Quebec, and that's our selling point. The main thing that we want to change. We want to stop subsidizing the Northvolt of this world. We want to stop wasting, and we want to cut the bureaucracy. We want to make sure that you have more money in your wallets. We want to abolish the carbon tax. We want to make sure that the private sector has more place in healthcare to provide better services and access to patients. So this is the hardcore policies of the Conservatives, and obviously it's a change. And the older we get, the more scared we are vis-a-vis change, and it's more difficult for seniors. But I was looking at the results yesterday in Chicoutimi, and what I saw is that even in the seniors' house, we did over 20% in Chicoutimi, which for us is very, very good because, as you rightly pointed out, we're at 5% nationally. So there is a way when we're sending our candidates on the ground, we're going to meet them. But they also have old habits, and the Conservatives were not there. We only been on the radar for the last 3-4 years in Quebec. So they're used to vote for the PQ or the Liberals or even the CAQ. So they're stuck in their old paradigm. So we have to change that. It's going to take a lot of work during the election campaign to convince those seniors.
All right, Mr. Duhaime, listen, we'll leave it there. It's always a pleasure chatting with you, and come back soon, okay?
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Leader of the Quebec Conservative Party, that's Éric Duhaime right there. And by the way, if you missed our Big Five, good Big Five discussion we had this morning where we touch upon the polls that Éric and I referenced. Catch up online on that one.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.